lot of us think about weather when we're standing on the ground. The weather occurs throughout the depth of the atmosphere. It's very detail-oriented. As soon as we sit down, basically we have to start digging into the real precise details of knowing exactly what's going to be going on in different locations. When is the snow going to start? What impact is it going to have on certain airports? Some airports may have big problems, others we know can handle it. The phone starts ringing early. Typically owners, again, they know that it's coming and they want that one last update.
They look at every flight, every day, and examine the weather. What's unique about our meteorologists is they don't just report an issue to you. They also help guide you in finding an alternative option to work around the weather by changing the time or changing the airport.
There have been a number of occasions, particularly when we're in the out islands of the Bahamas and we don't have access to normal media sources. I'll usually get a push from owner services, either in the form of an email or they'll give me a telephone call, advising me that meteorology has advised them that there's a potential issue with either the airport we'll be leaving from or the airport we plan to arrive at the next day. If it's a deep enough concern in my mind, owner services will usually patch me through directly to meteorology in a conference call, and I can ask them very specific questions.
I had a gentleman who was flying several members of his family into Aspen for his daughter's wedding. It was a big day. He was concerned about the weather forecast. I went in and looked at the trip and saw that there was a chance for some thunderstorms. So I brought the meteorologists on the line and they talked about what to expect. And after having that conversation, we decided to adjust the departure by a couple of hours. It was a great decision because the flight went flawlessly.
Where anything that ends in ing, if you're going to go golfing, skiing, boating, we've gotten questions for all of it.
That's one thing I find very unique about our meteorologists is they don't just stop at, hey, you're going to have a weather problem, and that's that. They will help guide you to finding another alternative for the owner that will get them in safely, comfortably, in a timely fashion. Even when there isn't a flight booked, our meteorologists will take a look at a significant weather event and warn us to go ahead and notify the owner. A few years ago when Hurricane Sandy was forecasted to hit the East Coast, our meteorologists took a look at the area and advised us on what regions we needed to be concerned about. And we were able to call the owners ahead of time and give them the opportunity to get out of the area before the storm hit.
A lot of owners will call us directly. They have our number and they'll call in and say, I'd like to fly on a certain day, but I hear the weather may be bad. What do you think about it? And having a sort of a relationship with some of these people, we sort of know what they're looking for. So we're able to kind of break it down and say, I don't think that Friday is going to be your day to fly. It doesn't look very good, and here's the reasons why. You may want to go a day earlier or a day later, and if they're flexible enough to do that, a lot are, then they will, and they'll kind of take our advice and go from there.
With having a meteorology department, we can go to a higher source, people whose specialty is nothing but the weather, give us their opinion if we're interpreting a situation correctly or not.
They can ask us a question, we can answer specifically their question. Each circumstance is different, so that relationship is unique, I think, and it's a pretty important thing.